Welcome back to Lion Serpent Media. I want to thank you first off for subscribing. And today we're going to be looking at this storm that continues to brew between Trump and the squad. Well, as you know, they continue to beat on that dead dead horse. Yes, those statements belong in a hearse because they're dead. But you know, they're going to keep pushing this white nationalist narrative, especially when it deals with the squad for women of color. But they don't want to deal with the fact that the things that they are saying, people are just simply sick of it. But we're going to get into their resolution that they're calling for and what the president actually said. Is he telling the truth, you know, about the things that they're saying, all this rhetoric that they continue to spew out? We see AOC time and time again during these hearings just looking like a straight idiot. Did you see when Holman had to educate her on illegally crossing the border and illegal immigrants? Well, I'm not going to dive into that, but we're going to focus on the president and these tweets and this resolution. He says those tweets were not racist. McCarthy says this is all about politics, and I agree. It says President Donald Trump tweeted Tuesday morning that he's not a racist, and he rallied against the Democrats' planned vote on resolution formally condemning his suggestion that the 4 progressive Democrats go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came, which they should, which is why people voted them in office. We vote people in office to take care of our cities, to take care of our communities, to take care of America, not to destroy America. This is what the tweet says. Those tweets were not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body. The so-called vote to be taken is a Democrat con game. Republicans should not show weakness and fall into their trap. This should be a vote on the filthy language, statements, and lies told by the Democrat congresswomen, who I truly believe, based on their actions, hate our country. Get a list of the horrible things they have said. Omar's polling at 8%, Cortez at 21%. Nancy Pelosi tried to push them away, but now they are forever wedded to the Democratic Party. See you in 2020. You know what? Trump is playing chess and they are playing checkers, and they fall for his traps every time, and I love it. He says, I believe this is about ideology. This is about socialism versus freedom. I understand. When I listened to their press conference yesterday, they talked more about impeachment than anything else. Even one of those individuals, this wasn't the first time they talked about impeachment. On the night of being sworn in, they all brought all of their supporters together and spoke about impeachment in words that I will not use here. This is more for their base. This is about politics. It is unfortunate, and we should get back to the business of America. And this is from House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. This is what he said Tuesday morning in regards to Trump's Sunday tweets. It's all about politics. By now, many Americans should have put this all together about what's going on. It says Representative McCarthy said he will vote against the Democrat-sponsored resolution formally condemning Trump for his xenophobic tweets, as House Representative Nancy Pelosi put it. McCarthy also noted that Republicans had never brought a resolution to the floor condemning the controversial comments of the 4 lawmakers in question. And it's weird. Did you see when they were trying to get Kellyanne Conway to appear before this Senate committee hearing in regards to the Hatch Act? But all the things that these Democrats are doing, every time they open their mouth, they violate the Hatch Act. It's just hypocrisy. Okay, Representative Liz Cheney told the same news conference that Republicans Opposition to our socialist colleagues has absolutely nothing to do with their gender, their religion, or with their race.
Well, I didn't mention names, and I didn't do that, but I will tell you, with our country, and I think everybody in this audience, these are great manufacturers, great workers in our audience too. They brought a lot of their workers here. If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. A lot of people love it, by the way. A lot of people love it. But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
It has to do with the content of their policies, she said. They're wrong when they attempt to impose the fraud of socialism on the American people. They're wrong when they pursue policies that will steal power from the American people and give the power to the government. They're wrong when they espouse and enable, and their leadership refuses to condemn vile anti-Semitism. They're wrong when they rush to blame America first, when they fail to recognize that this is the greatest nation that ever existed, the exceptional nation. And they're wrong when they fail to recognize that no people has ever lived in a greater freedom. And then they go on and fail to provide the resources our men and women in uniform need to defend that freedom. And what she's referring to is that $4.6 billion. Everybody voted for it to help these Border Patrol agents to take care of the crisis at the border. But these four voted against it. Yes, they keep talking about what's going on in these detention centers, but they do not want to do anything to help when the opportunity came for funds to be supplied to these agents. These four voted against it. So we see where they are. But let's get into this resolution. Did I print that? Okay, yes. It says Cheney also criticized her socialist colleagues for supporting late-term abortion. Of course, they support everything that's evil. The left, the left-hand path. Okay, open borders, free health for illegal immigrants. And who's going to pay for that free health, which is not free? The American taxpayer citizens. And the abolishment of DHS and ICE. Here's the partial text of resolution condemning Trump. Whereas President Donald Trump's racist comments have legitimized fear and hatred of new Americans and people of color, now therefore be it resolved that the House of Representatives, number one, believes that immigrants and their descendants have made America stronger, and that those who take the oath of citizenship are every bit as American as those whose families have lived in the United States for many generations. That's true. Okay, is committed to keeping America open to those lawfully seeking refuge and asylum from violence and oppression. Those who are willing to work hard to live the American dream, no matter their race, ethnicity, faith, or country of origin. And three, this is the one I have a problem with, condemns President Donald Trump's racist comments that have legitimized and increased fear and hatred of new Americans and people of color by saying that our fellow Americans who are immigrants and those who may look to the president like immigrants should go back to their countries or other countries, by referring to immigrants and asylum seekers as invaders, and by saying that members of Congress who are immigrants or those of our colleagues who are wrongly assumed to be immigrants do not belong in Congress or in the United States of America. This is where they kind of over exaggerate or put their ideas as far as like what the president actually said. You know, if you go back and listen to what he said, and we're gonna watch this tweet because I said it time and time again, when President Trump was inaugurated, when President Trump took the Oval Office. You had so many celebrities that came out and said that they were leaving America, and all of them have money to do it. But guess what? When it came down to it, many of them are still here. And just like these people, they're so disgruntled, so upset with America. And I said it time and time again, as a military veteran, as a patriot, just leave. Like, nobody is holding a gun to your head to stay in this country. Many of these people have the money, the wealth to just uproot and leave. If you don't like this country, leave. It's just like a woman staying in an abusive relationship. You have a friend and you keep telling her, girl, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that, he doesn't love you. Why do you stay? You know, this is like illogical, these people. I just do not understand the Colin Kaepernicks, you know, and then how people listen to the foolishness and the ignorance that come out of their mouths. And why? Because people are so terrified to be considered or known as a racist, or to be supporting, you know, racist ideas, you know, with that fluff about the shoes and the Betsy Ross flag, and then lo and behold, Betsy Ross, an abolitionist. Like, all these things, you know, it's just ridiculous. But we need to research and get our own information and stop following headlines and educate ourselves. And it's sad because I work with a lot of people that only listen to this type of news that come out of the Communist News Network, you know, or MSNBC, to misinform Negroes in the black community. And every time they come to me and tell me something they heard on the news, I have to pause, because I know they didn't hear it right. I know they were misinformed. I know they didn't get all the information. I have to go and dig and find, you know, the actual full clip of what was said, you know. But, you know, we're going to keep fighting this war. This is a spiritual war, you know, and people have to continue to realize and understand that this is deeper than Republicans and Democrats. This is a fight for this country and its citizens. This is a fight against the people of America and these globalist elites who are determined to destroy this country and to make this one world order. So that's it, folks, and that's how I'm going to leave it. And I will see you on the next one. Stay informed and continue to wake up your brothers and sisters.
These are people that if they don't like it here, they can leave. And I don't know who's going to miss them, but I guess some people will. One of them is polling at 8%. One of them is polling at 8%. So when I hear people speaking about how wonderful Al-Qaeda is, when I hear people talking about some people with the World Trade Center, some people, no, not some people, much more than some people. When I hear the statements that they've made, and in one case you have somebody that comes from Somalia, which is a failed government, a failed state, who left Somalia, who ultimately came here, and now is a congresswoman who's never happy, says horrible things about Israel, hates Jews, hates Jews. It's very simple. And if the Democrats want to wrap their bows around this group of 4 people, one of them kept Amazon out of New York. Tens of thousands of jobs. Would have been a great thing. And she kept Amazon from going. Would have been a good deal. I mean, could he have made better? Maybe. But tens of thousands of jobs. And New York has not been the same since that happened. It's really hurt New York and New York City. Amazon was going to go. They were going to relocate a major section of their business in New York. She kept them out. That was a terrible thing she did. A terrible thing she did. So here's the story. I see them complaining. They're complaining constantly. I watched Lindsey Graham today on Fox and Friends talking about the same subject, and frankly, even stronger than what I'm saying. He said they're communists. I'm saying that they're socialists, definitely. As to whether or not they're communists, I would think they might be. But this isn't what our country is about. Nevertheless, they're free to leave if they want.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!